Saratoga, the great state, land of opportunity. Just words on paper. Out here, the land don't give nothing for free. Ain't no justice you can count on, only a struggle between the desperate and the crooked, between the gun and the badge. This land's been torn apart by outlaws and governments that don't know what side they're on. The blood-soaked ground. It's seen its share of bandits and killers, both with their own way of claiming power. But now, there's something new on the horizon. Something darker, more dangerous. When you hear that bell tower, you'll know it's high noon. High Noon ain't just a game, it's a battle for survival. With modular tiles, every map can be what you make it. Characters have designated spaces, so loading up your posse is just a matter of seconds. Card-based combat is quick and simple, and that's just what you'll need, because time is running out. With Against the Clock, you're facing brand new territories, new challenges, and all new ways to outsmart your enemies. First, there's Purgatory, a ghost town left to rot. But in High Noon, it's your new battleground. 13 tiles to change the face of the game. Dusty roads, debris scatter in the streets, and empty, hollow buildings to hide in or die in. And then there's the big prize, a 2-story ruin, letting you take the high ground, shooting from that balcony while your enemies scramble below. You can add these tiles to your maps or build your own ghost town from scratch. Whatever you choose, Purgatory's where the real fight begins. But we ain't just talking tiles. We're bringing something new to the table. Literally. 3D buildings, the bank and the jail. They rise up from the board and add a whole new dimension to your fight. Use them to replace the tiles from your starter set, or add them to make the fight more dangerous, more intense. And then, there's the clock tower, the centerpiece of this campaign. It's got 2 levels of elevation, perfect for the kind of strategy that wins shootouts. Ladders let your characters climb higher and higher, getting the advantage on anyone below. But the clock tower ain't just for looks. It's a game changer, a functional round counter for all 12 rounds of the fight. And there's more. This clock tower, it comes with a little something extra, an exclusive campaign-only weapon, a prototype machine gun, deadly as all hell. The Vindicator. But this ain't just any loot, it's legendary loot. A new class of gear that comes with its own loot crate, and everyone at the table knows where it is. You want to get your hands on the Vindicator, you're gonna have to fight for it. But the clock tower and the Vindicator, you won't see these anywhere else. This is your one shot to claim them. So what'll it be? You gonna stand tall, or fall to the dust like the rest? Against the clock, only the best will make it out alive. Just remember, partner, time waits for no one. Get ready for the fight of your life. Put your pledge on Against the Clock today.
Howdy, how y'all doing? Welcome to another episode of High Noon Live. It is a publisher spotlight. This is one of my favorite streams to do because I don't talk about High Noon, even though you literally just watched High Noon and I'm about to talk about High Noon. So a little bit of housekeeping before we get going. We are sitting at about 30, just shy of 35,000, almost to our goal. And I heard you loud and clear, all of you guys who are sitting on the fence. There's just no value, even though $35,000 worth of people disagree with you. I've created a brand new pledge just for you because I know you just want the add-ons. You don't want it all. You just want the add-ons. So if you go over to the page, which I did not include a link to because it's amateur hour, but you know, if you've been watching the streams, you know where the links are, guys. I can't do all the work for you. So head over to the page. Find the, it's actually not even listed. Just go back and just click the back button and trust me, bro, it's there. It's the Drifter Pledge. It's $5. I actually stole that idea from the guest coming up here in about a second. One Mississippi. Okay, I lied. A few seconds, but it's $5. It's access to all of the add-ons, so you can get the games, you get everything, all the High Noon inventory that is currently in stock for 20 to 25% off of what retail value is. So there's your value. There's your value. You get your cheap stuff, you cheapskate, and you help me unlock all this other stuff for everybody else. All right, so that is the housekeepings. I'm very excited to bring our guest in. It's Chris Bach from Dragon versus Kingdom. Chris, I said
Hello.
it right? I
Chris
said it.
Bach rhymes with hockey. I put it on my shirt so I
Hockey.
don't forget my own name.
Dang it. All right, listen, I didn't practice it, okay? I told you I was practicing the other way. Muscle memory. So, Chris, how the heck are you, man?
Doing good. Just got back from a run. Had a meeting with a fellow designer. I've got some other things going on later today. Life is good. Yesterday was one of those days that you've kind of thought about for months, and then when it actually came, it was like, huh, that's cool. All right, I got crap to do. So yesterday was the first day I've ever had two of my designed games on Kickstarter at the same time.
What? I thought you were going to say your Amazon package finally arrived.
Well, one of them did, but yeah, no. Yeah, no, obviously Dragon versus Kingdom, which has been live with No Box Games, our fourth game. That's wrapping up here in the near future. And one of the other games that just launched was the Mint Tin quartet of games from Galen's Games. And my game within that collection is called Mint Tin Monster Mashup. That's a 2-player dice chucking game where you're mad scientists and you make monsters. And so that's one of the 4 games available within that package, and you can buy one, buy all 4, get a pair if you want, whatever. But yeah, so yesterday was when Galen's quartet of games went live.
What is the name of what is the name of the Kickstarter? Because I want to look that up.
Yeah, so it's if you look up Galen's Games and then Mint Tin Series is the other part of it.
Oh yeah. You know, actually, I was talking to Galen about having him on the stream, so we'll probably be talking about this.
Yeah, I think you said a great job. Like every game is distinct in that they all use different mechanics, they all use similar components, but they're 4 completely different experiences. Alex from Board Game Go, shout out to Alex. He did a great job in one video, like 18-minute video, talking about each and every game. And one thing I love about Alex is he's very opinionated and he's very honest. And I love that about his streams. You get a great sense of the overview, and if your tastes align with his, you're going to be in for a treat. So
I totally need to send High Noon over to him to get him to.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right. Cool. And like a box of chocolates or something.
Well, what chocolates? I'm just thinking like Western chocolates.
Yeah, like cowboy hats and boots and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's gotta. Don't just send them a box of Hallmark chocolates.
No. They'll be bullet shaped chocolate. It'll be like nice,
yeah,
but
there you go.
Threatening. You know, be like, here, I gave you a gift.
That way, when he bites the bullet, that's got to
look at that
somewhere.
Look at that. I'm stealing that. There's guys, this is why I have creators on, and I love creators that can just roll with it and jive. This is the sphere of the show. And so for those watching, who are from my audience, you might be like, what does this have to do with High Noon? Nothing. It has nothing to do with High Noon, except for the fact that you guys always come on the stream and go, why isn't anybody talking about this game? Because the people who usually talk about games are big and large, busy people who have lots of games in front of them. So it's on us to talk about each other's games. And I can't complain that nobody's talking about High Noon if I'm not talking about somebody else's game. This is how we pay it forward, guys. So that's why I wanted to have Chris on here. That's why I wanted to have Dragon versus Kingdom on here. It looks like a fun game. And so I want to briefly dive into this. So you've got this Kickstarter up. You got 49 hours to go. You've crushed your goal. I guess it's nice to have like a print and play. It's like, I did it. Maybe I get $100 out of it. Maybe I don't, but here it is. Here you go. No shipping required. and you've annihilated that goal. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, obviously, Kickstarter requires a goal. And one of the beautiful things about print and plays, obviously, it's digital distribution. So we're not having to work with a manufacturer in China to manufacture things and then ship them and distribute them all over the world. At the risk of sounding like a cliche, this really is one of those pass the savings on to you sort of things. I can make a full-fledged game that fits on a sheet or two of paper per player. And once Parker does his Rockstar design with it, we can put it out there for the world. Once the campaign is over, and for anyone that does campaigns, Kickstarter usually takes about 2 weeks to send you to finalize everything on their end, do their own housekeeping, and then they'll send you the funds. By the time Kickstarter's ready to actually send us the money from the crowdfunding, we've got the files ready to rock.
Yeah.
A lot of the translations are done or are in progress. Most translators have about a week left as of the recording date to get out there to get that done. So all that to say, and this is also our fourth launch. So we made a lot of mistakes with our first couple of launches, but we've got more of a system now, more of a playbook on how to run this in a way that really gives our backers exactly what we promised them. But more importantly, we're trying to make this just as easy as possible for us to get that to them as fast as we can.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's something that I've talked about a lot on the streams is focusing on the customer experience. Like if you prioritize the customer experience, you're gonna have a sustainable publishing company. Levin, let's watch the trailer. Can we? You mind if we do that
yeah.
Right here?
Go ahead. Do it.
All right, cool. Let's see what this is all about, guys. Here we go. This is all right. Let me boomer my way through this.
Would you rather build a kingdom or burn it down? Why not do both? Hey guys, I gotta tell you about our new game, Dragon vs. Kingdom. In Dragon vs. Kingdom, each player builds their territory, putting up towers, houses, and shops, trying to expand their domain and protect it from the dragon. But, plot twist, you also get to be the dragon. As the dragon, you'll be flying across the map, burning down everything the other players have built. Turns are super fast with everyone taking their actions simultaneously, then passing the sheet to the next player. The game is quick to play, easy to learn, and the strategy is so good. Whether you're building up structures, defending your kingdom, or going full chaos mode as the dragon, you'll always have an interesting choice to make and different ways to score. Even if you lose like I usually do, it's still tons of fun getting to destroy your friend's kingdom. As a print and play game, setup is a total breeze. Just print out a couple sheets of paper, grab some dice and some markers, and you're ready to go. There's no cutting or gluing, so you can just get straight to the fun part. So if you're looking for a game that's easy to learn but packed with strategy and player interaction, then definitely check out Dragon vs. Kingdom and back it now on Kickstarter. Seriously, back it today, you won't regret it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. So shout out to Rocky here. Rocky is our marketing co-founder of NoBox Games. He knocked that video out of the park. I'm so proud of what he was able to put together there. In about a minute, you get the sense of what the game is, what it's like, whether it's for you or not. You'll get to hear all the big kind of the main selling points. It's a print and play game. It's no assembly required. And with a lot of print and play games, one fear I've heard from some folks is, oh gosh, how many pages of paper does it take? How much ink does it take? Do I have to have sleeves or cards, or how many dice do I have? One thing I wanted to do with this brand was print things off. Again, no assembly required to start playing. And then you just grab a literal handful of components or less to start playing. With Dragon vs. Kingdom, you need one marker per player. One die. If you can give each person a die, that's great, but you really only need one at a time. For Around the World in 10 to 15 minutes, our third game, which we launched earlier this year, you just need one marker per player. With Beards and Booty, it was 5 dice. With the first game, it was one sheet of paper and then one optional shield if you want to have a bit of privacy on your board. You can always just kind of roll the sheet towards you, and then a pen or a marker of some type. So keeping the builds really simple was one way of really getting to the core experience you're going for. And because there's no cutting, there's no assembly required, one of the first things that came up as I was putting this together was that means no cards. And so I began asking my designer friends, like, how would you make a game, like a print and play game with no cards? And more than a couple of designers were like, "Are you serious? How would you do that? 'Cause, you
Oh,
want to
so
have
when you on this when it says draw towers, you're not drawing cards for
correct.
towers. You're literally drawing the towers.
Yeah, you're drawing a circle for a tower, you're drawing a square for a house, you're drawing a triangle for a shop, and you're drawing it on the shop or the piece of paper, or your laminated board. If you want to laminate it, rock on. It makes it very easy to dry erase and wipe when you're done. If you wanted to sprint it off and play once you're done, frame it as your win, or dump it in the recycling bin if you lost.
That's great. Actually, I have a laminator, and what I love about what going back to what you were talking about quick delivery. We're doing like a little Halloween bonfire and board game night, handing out candy to kids and stuff, and making s'mores and playing board games. High Noon, obviously, but I was just talking to my fiance, and she was like, "I don't have any games." I'm like, "I know, we'll find some." This is great because literally, your campaign's over in like 2 days. And I mean, I should expect to get my game. Like, we should get it within time. I mean, this is maybe possible. Will I have my game? Will I have this in time for Halloween? Will I be able to print this out by Halloween?
Not for Halloween. I think we're looking at delivery in November. Definitely by Christmas. Oh, stop. by Thanksgiving, definitely when you bring the family over.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. All right, guys. No Halloween for Dragon Kingdom versus Dragon, but Thanksgiving, which is great because that's when all the family. That's actually a great time. Because if you think about a dragon, it's really like the A-10 Warthog, right? It flies over, everything in its path, and it's most effective when the crowds have gathered. So a Thanksgiving when all the family is in one singular location, perfect time to release the dragon on the family. I think that yeah, okay, great. I agree with this timeline. Okay, so I was going to ask you about like what was the symbol for the towers, but you answered that. So you were talking about language, and that's a great point. I'm going to zoom right over to that. I think it was over here. Maybe it was up. It was up higher. You have a lot of languages that you're translating. Yeah, current translations: Chinese, Croatian, Dutch, French, German. Man, so many languages. I just have one question: how did you manage to translate all of these symbols into a different language? How?
So so this is something that we've learned over the course of making games. And again, this is our fourth game. Starting with our previous game, Around the World in 10-15 Minutes, we realized that the sheets, and this is actually kind of a best practice you'll see from other board games, the sheets or the boards are predominantly language independent.
Yes, they're iconography driven. They're iconography driven, right? Yeah,
exactly.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so this is classic Euro design. You can go all the way back to Catan and Carcassonne if you want. And what we realized is that with the sheets being language independence, we just need the rule books to be language focused or language. We rely on the words to teach the game via the rule book. So what we set up starting with the previous game, Around the World in 10-15 Minutes, and what we continue doing here is our rule books are all in Google Docs, and there'll be classic words with the pictures alongside to explain things and give examples. And so what we ask the translators to do is I'll make a copy of the game or a copy of the rules, and I'll say, okay, this is the Croatian translation of the rules. This is the Dutch translation of the rules. This copy is the original English. This copy is for the French translation, and so on. So lots of different copies of the same document. And then the French translator gets the link to the French translation document. And what they do is, they just translate the document, and they try to avoid moving the text or try to avoid moving the pictures around, basically. So as they explain the text, they get the context of the picture, which is languageless because it came from the sheets. So starting from the sheets with your languageless and just icon based, whatever, and then the rule book explains the game in the local language using icons from that languageless sheet and the other art assets in the game. So in doing it this way, we are able to allow the translator to directly translate everything in the rule book. So what that does is it cuts out some of this back and forth of, did we translate this right? Did we put this in the right place on the sheet? Did we ... They did it themselves. And of course, I usually ask them to go back, put on your proofreading hat now and just check it one more time to confirm everything's correct as far as the text goes. And once they're happy with the text, I can go and make sure the layout is correct. And then boom, it's done. So it's still work to make sure this is all happening. I've easily put in 30 hours just working to make sure the translations
that's not a lot. I mean, like on the grand scheme of things, 30 hours is, I mean, it's a lot for, but that's not bad at all for
exactly.
So I was looking at, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm really happy because one thing that we can do with printable games, obviously, it's digital distribution, it's free delivery. So I joked with my co-founders that we should really call this free worldwide shipping. And if we can find someone that's on like the ISS, the International Space Station, or somewhere else that's in like Antarctica, that's on the North Pole Science Station. Exactly. Just some way of saying we can get this game even over here, because it's just a PDF,
that's right? Yeah.
And I was hoping to find, so if you're watching this and if you're based in the South Pole, one of the research centers there, if you have a friend on the ISS, let me know. I'll send them a copy of the game just so I can get a picture of them like holding the game up next to the window showing, Earth in all its glory or whatever.
And the ISS actually has a 3D printer on it. So
awesome.
I mean, they were actually, there was a I remember way back, like years back, there was a problem with the space station and they couldn't fix it because there was like they needed a tool that did not exist. The tool did not exist in the entire universe. So an engineer down on Earth designed a tool, and then the space station crew 3D printed it. Like they sent the data to the space station. The space station 3D printed it, and they were able to fix their problem. So you could literally send them like you could just include the 3D designs for the dice, and I'm sure they have markers up there. They could print everything, and and then you're galactic, you're intergalactic shipping. So I wanted to jump over to the dragons because I one thing that really turned me on about this, I mean, if you can't tell from the cowboy hat, I'm not a pacifist. I'm big on conflict and combat. I don't understand Euro games. Like I understand it, and I read the history on it and why they go toward the route of like less aggressive toward each other and more of like do your own thing. But I'm old school. Like I love sitting around the table and forcing people to interact with each other, especially in a competitive way. And so when you have basically, it seems like the spirit of, and I tell people like with High Noon, the spirit of High Noon is hurt the ones you love. And when they're on the ground bleeding out and crying, you insult them in Western slang. Like that is the spirit of it. And so when I'm reading this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is great. So the spirit of this is burn down your family's houses and everything that they've built their whole lives for, and then steal all their gold and laugh in the language of a dragon. This is fantastic. And of course, they're doing it to you. My question is so I see here there are 4 dragons. It looks like right here, possibly more in the game. I don't know, but it looks like 4 dragons. I watched a video. I was starting to watch a video before the stream, and there was like it looked like everybody had their own dragon. Is that the case, or is there just like you have one dragon per game and everybody plays as that dragon? How does it work?
Yeah, so there's actually going to be 5 dragons. There's going to be the backers have voted on a purple dragon, I think, and they got to see a couple of different designs or sketches that Parker made. So there will be 5 dragons overall. So 5 different designs of the sheets. Now the dragons are mechanically identical. There's nothing in the game that causes one dragon to be different. It's just easy to identify. I'm going to be the red dragon, and his name is Infuego or whatever. But as the red dragon, you get to name your dragon.
Gotcha.
One cool thing about the game is that you are the dragon burninating all the things. That's the technical term.
So we can name him Trogdor if we want to.
Exactly. And you're also the kingdom builder on the other sheets. So in a 4-player game, you're going to be the dragon on one sheet and a kingdom builder on the other 3. You're going to score points in both ways, and you really want to try to balance your scoring as much as you can, but all the points go to your final total, and the most points wins.
Okay, that was my so you do get your own dragon in the game.
Exactly. Yeah. So basically, when you start the game out, after you've printed off the sheets or laminated them or whatever, each person can choose their color. They'll get a marker of that color or some other unique color. Ideally, if you're playing the red dragon, you'll get the red marker and so on.
Okay.
And then you write your name on that sheet, whether it's your name or the name you give for your dragon. And now you kind of label this as your sheet where you're the dragon. So from then on, if you see your dragon, you're playing the role of the dragon. And if you see any other dragon, that's the sheet where you're a kingdom builder.
Okay. And so I get it. I see. So so you're drawing the same stuff. If I understand, you're drawing the same stuff on every sheet, but the sheet with the dragon that's not yours is somebody else's sheet. Is that
yeah,
it?
So the sheets where you're a kingdom builder, those are the sheets where someone else is the dragon, and the dragon will just be moving from they'll be moving from one square to another to move across the land, leaving a trail of destruction behind them and burninating whatever they can in front of them.
Now, is it that does the way it work? Because I see that there's the heart tracker. I'm assuming that's the health tracker of the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And
Correct.
you mentioned that you can build, let me do this here. All right, there we go. So you can build towers that can attack the dragon or deal damage to the dragon. So is it basically like when the dragon passes through a tower square, it takes a hit off its life? Is that how that works? Or how does it work? How do the towers defend against
yeah. Okay, so so basically as a kingdom builder, you've got 2 things you can do. You can fight or you can build. And when you're building, you're choosing to build towers, and you're putting towers where you think the dragon will come near, because when you go to fight on a future turn, you're basically going to roll a d6, and you're just counting you're comparing the distance between the tower and the dragon to your die roll. So the dragon is 3 spaces away from my tower. I roll a d6, and if the die roll is equal to the distance, you'll do 1 damage. If it's higher than the distance, you'll do 2 damage instead. So every time you roll, if you're rolling, ideally you want the dragon to be as close to your tower as possible, but you can still have kind of a ranged attack and still have a good chance of doing damage.
But the dragon can destroy a tower, right?
Yes. Yeah. And
like by just going through it, or how does it destroy the tower?
Well, yeah. So when it's your turn to be the dragon, the 2 things you can do: you can move or you can attack. Basically, you can move for 1 to 3 spaces as one of your 2 actions, and then when you fight, you'll basically roll a d6 and cut that in half, and then that's how many spaces you attack in a straight line. So I roll a 6, and I'll basically just breathe fire 3 spaces in any straight line of exactly. So what I'll probably want to do is destroy as many buildings as I can, but you can also destroy empty spaces. You basically scorch the earth; nothing can be built there. So what that does,
the entire game, or
for the entire game, correct? Yeah. And as a dragon, obviously you're leaving this trail of destruction behind you. You're also burninating things. You can cross into these spaces, but it costs you health when you do. So where do you want to attack? Where do you want to try and go to attack on future turns? That's one of the choices you want to make as a dragon. You can try to burninate all the things, but the more you walk through your own fire, the more it's going to hurt your little feet. So you will take 1 damage every time you walk through your fire.
Okay. There's a lot. I mean, I was going to ask, I mean, given the fact that you have your own dragon, I was going to ask if in the instructions, were there instructions on how to train your dragon? It seems there's a lot of thought process in this game. This is not a preschoolers color in between the lines game. It seems like there's a lot of strategy, a lot of things going on.
Exactly. And this is one element that I want to point out. This is something I love doing with games. Basically my personal brand, if you will, is interesting decisions, player interaction, easy to learn, easy to play, with lots of deeper strategy as you play more and more. So that's something I try to bring to all of the No-Box games, but also my other games that I pitched and published with publishers and so on.
How long have you been making games?
I started making games for real in 2016. I was living in Florida at the time, and
what part of Florida?
Dunedin.
Dunedin. Oh, Dog
Dunedin
Eden
on the West Coast.
Dog Eden, little brew town.
Yeah, we were only there for about 3 months. So just to set the scene here, this is 2016. My wife and I were taking an epic road trip across North America. We started in Halifax, Nova Scotia, drove west towards Toronto, and it's Toronto, not Toronto. And then just
Toronto.
Came all the way south to Key West, Florida. Spent a few months in Florida over the winter, and then drove back up a different way. So easily,
And
like, 20,000 kilometers.
And then just ran into the breweries in Dunedin and the great beaches of Clearwater, and just had like, you know what, I'm gonna plant my flag.
Look, neither of us really liked the cold, and
Yeah.
Florida has at least some days that weren't like freaking freezing. So it was a good time. But
Well, you're talking to a Florida man. If you haven't picked up,
Okay.
I'm actually I'm up in Jacksonville, good old Duval.
Okay, nice.
So and I had a townhouse in Clearwater, so I used to go to Dunedin all the time. It's beautiful.
Nice.
Love it down there. All right, so this is great to have you on here. Just to summarize, so on this Kickstarter, and this is for everybody to see. There's not just an opportunity to grab this game, the Dragon versus Kingdom game for $5. I mean, come on, $5 for a game that you can play forever. But you're throwing up all 4 of your games for $20. You've got the Dragon versus Kingdom, Around the World in 10 to 15 minutes, Beards and Booty, and Spies for $20. And guys, you're gonna get it because they've reached funding. So and if they don't deliver, roughly where they live is in another country, so you can probably find them. So I've gone in. I personally went in at the $20. I want all 4 games, and hopefully I can threaten this gentleman politely to get me one of these games for Halloween. But no pressure. But I'm really excited. I'm not just excited about the Dragon versus Kingdom turned me on to this because I like blowing up my friend's stuff. But if you could just give me just a surface level, what am I to expect from Beards and Booty? I want to hear about Beards and Booty really quickly.
Okay, well, I can't quite do the voice as well as you did, but Beards and Booty is basically Pirate Yahtzee with a twist. This was designed by Christian Foch. And he was our former graphics design guy, and he brought in just this amazing style. Each person is a pirate, and you're rolling dice to make your special combinations to do damage to the other players, to try and regain some of your health. And there's also a co-op or solo mode where you can fight the Kraken, you can fight some other monsters of the sea, and all of you are working together to defeat the Kraken. So you're just rolling dice to match your combinations. And unlike Yahtzee, you can roll each dice separately up to 3 times. And there's a little tracker at the top of the sheet there to help you remember which dice you've rolled how many times. So as you're rolling the dice, you might want to try to go for the bigger, harder to make combination because it does more damage, it restores more of your health, things like that. Or you might play it safe and just go for something easier. Both ways are fine, but you get to do the best combination that you made.
This sounds like the greatest bundle ever. For $20, you get Dragons and Krakens, you get a world tour, and you get to pretend to be James Bond. I can't what better bundle is there besides High Noon? Is there in the world? I don't know. Chris, thank you so much for coming on the stream. Guys, if you want to check this out, you can find it on Kickstarter for the next I want to show this really quickly for the next 40. We're looking at 49 hours to go. If you want this, if you want to grab this, grab it on Kickstarter. It is Dragon versus Kingdom. Look, support this guy. He was at least a Florida man for 3 months. Okay, we have to support our fellow brethren. Chris, thank you for coming on. Is there anything any last parting thoughts you like to share with the team and the crew?
Yeah, if you're looking to design games, this is a great time to jump in, make awesome games. Thinking about just the different types of games out there, you can make a big game, a small game, a mint tin game, a giant box game. Enjoy the process of designing and have fun with it. There's lots of communities out there, both real world and online. Shout out to the virtual playtesting community who created that with Ian Brocklebank. We're still meeting Mondays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. Eastern, and we've been rocking that for 4.5 years now. So twice a week, come out, meet some other designers, jump on Facebook, get on the Facebook groups to meet other designers. And if you're listening to this and you want to design some games, let's have some fun. There's lots.
Is there a website for that? I can drop in the comment section here.
Yeah, so if you just go virtualplaytesting.com.
Playtesting.com.
Yeah, there's not a lot up there because most of our stuff's going to be in a Discord server. So the website has a link to that. But
got it.
Discord servers are always like discord.gg/.
Yeah. And then the link expires in like 33 seconds.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right,
so
I got the link in the comments, so check that out. That sounds like fun. I may do that myself.
Yeah, man.
All right, Chris. Well, thank you, brother. It was great having you on. Best of luck with this campaign, with future campaigns. Looking forward to all the things you're making. This all looks fun.
Thank you so much, buddy.
Take care.